There comes a point in life when you realize that every achievement, every relationship, every dream you've chased, no matter how beautiful, will eventually fade if it isn't rooted in something eternal. We live in a world that teaches us to put ourselves first, to chase comfort, to fight for recognition, to collect applause as if that applause could fill the aching void inside. But deep down, you know it. No matter how much you accomplish, no matter how much you own, if God is not at the center, something feels missing. Putting God first is not about being religious enough. It's not about memorizing verses to show others how holy you are. It's about alignment. It's about your inner world, the part of you that nobody sees, finally finding its true north. It's about understanding that you are not here by accident, that your existence is not a coincidence, that your battles, your victories, and even your failures have a purpose woven into them by the one who saw you before you took your first breath. There is a silent war inside every person, a tension between the life you live and the life you were created for. Some call it ambition, some call it anxiety, some call it emptiness, but it's the same. Your soul longs for meaning, for a higher order, for a truth that goes beyond the chaos of your day-to-day. The world tells you to quiet that voice with distractions, more work, more noise, more likes, more attention. But that voice is not an enemy. It is the whisper of God saying, "Come back to me." When you put God first, you stop trying to force your life into the mold that society gives you. You begin to see that success is not measured in possessions, but in peace. Peace when the storm rages, peace when doors close, peace when the answer to your prayer is not yet. This peace doesn't come from controlling your circumstances. It comes from surrendering them. You may think surrender sounds like weakness, but it's the opposite. True strength comes from knowing that you don't have to carry everything alone. When you put God first, you're not giving up your power, you're aligning your power with His. You're allowing your gifts, your talents, and even your wounds to be used for something far greater than yourself. Inside each of us is a shadow, a collection of fears, mistakes, and regrets we try to hide. We spend years running from it, pretending it doesn't exist, shaping masks to make the world believe we're fine. But here's the truth. You can't heal what you refuse to face, and you can't face it without God's light. When you put Him first, that shadow doesn't disappear overnight, but it loses its control over you. You stop living in denial and start living in truth. Putting God first means your value no longer depends on people's opinions. You're not crushed by their rejection or inflated by their praise. You live from a place of security that nothing in this world can shake. You stop asking, "Am I enough?" and start declaring, "I am His." But putting God first is not just about your personal peace, it's also about purpose. You weren't created to drift through life. There are people assigned to your path, people who will only hear the voice of hope through your story, your struggles, your transformation. If you live only for yourself, they may never see the light you were meant to reflect. Right now, think about your priorities. Where is God in them? Is He first, or is He somewhere in the background, waiting for you to remember Him when life gets too heavy? Be honest, because honesty is the doorway to transformation. When you wake up tomorrow, you will have a choice. Will you start your day scrolling through your phone, checking other people's lives before you've even checked in with your Creator? Or will you give Him the first thought, the first breath, the first word of gratitude? Your life will follow the direction of your focus. You can chase 1,000 things in this world and still feel empty. But if you put God first, the smallest decisions, your steps will carry weight, your relationships will deepen, and your life will overflow with meaning. If this is speaking to you right now, don't just scroll away. Stop for a moment. Let this be the day you decide to reorder your life, not out of guilt, but out of love, out of the awareness that everything you are and everything you have is a gift. Comment below, God comes first in my life. Declare it. Let your own words be a step of faith. You never know, your comment might be the reminder someone else desperately needed today. The moment you truly put God first, you will notice something strange. Life won't suddenly become easier, but it will become clearer. Challenges won't disappear, but you'll see them differently. The same storm that once terrified you will now feel like a path to growth. The same rejection that once broke you will now become the redirection you needed. The difference is not in the world around you, it's in the world within you. This is where most people hesitate. They want the blessing without the process, the light without the fire, the miracle without the surrender. But putting God first means letting Him rearrange the furniture of your soul. He will move things you've grown comfortable with, expose habits you've justified for years, and bring to the surface wounds you thought you had buried. Not to shame you, but to heal you. Because what you hide will own you, and what you bring into the light will set you free. There's a part of you that is terrified of this exposure. That's natural. We've all built identities around the image we want people to see, but those masks are heavy. Carrying them takes strength that could be used for something far greater. God doesn't want your perfect image. He wants your honest heart. And here's the paradox. The moment you put Him first, you begin to understand yourself in ways you never could on your own. It's as if the fragments of your life, scattered across years of mistakes and heartbreak,
victories finally start coming together. You see patterns. You see meaning. You see the truth that even the darkest seasons had a purpose, that nothing was wasted. When you put God first, you stop being a victim of life and start becoming a student of it. Every trial becomes a lesson, every blessing a responsibility, every moment an opportunity to grow closer to Him. This is the inner work the world doesn't understand. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about allowing God to use that pain as a tool to shape you. The very things you thought would destroy you often become the foundation for your calling. And if you pay attention, you'll see it. Every scar has a story. Every tear has a teaching. Every delay has a design. Putting God first also means redefining success. It's no longer just about reaching goals or gaining recognition. It's about obedience to the purpose He gave you. Sometimes that purpose will lead you down roads others don't understand. You might lose people. You might feel misunderstood. But the approval of men is a poor substitute for the approval of God. If you are reading this and feel like you've been drifting, this is your wake-up call. Stop living on autopilot. Stop waiting for a better time to take your spiritual life seriously. That better time is now. Tomorrow is not promised, and every day you delay is a day you can't get back. Here's the truth. You will put something first in your life. It might be your career, your relationships, your comfort, your image, or your own desires. But only when you put God first will everything else find its rightful place. Anything else you place at the top will eventually fail you. He won't. So take a deep breath. Look at your life. Ask yourself, what needs to change? What needs to be released? What needs to be surrendered? God will not force His way into your priorities. He will wait for you to choose Him. Because love without choice is not love at all. And when you choose Him first, you will discover that everything you thought you were losing was actually being replaced with something better. You will find yourself walking lighter, speaking kinder, loving deeper, and living with a strength that doesn't make sense to the world, but will make perfect sense to you. This is not about religion. This is about relationship. This is about you and your Creator, face to face, heart to heart, life to life.
Don't let this just be another moment where you feel inspired for a second and then return to the same routine. Make it your turning point. Make it the day you drew the line in the sand and said, from now on, God comes first, no matter what. If you believe this is your moment, write it below. God is my priority, now and forever. Your words might be the push someone else needs to take the same step. And who knows, that one decision might change the course of not just your life, but theirs.